Hello all, and welcome back to Time to Dice Character Creation, where we make your favorite fictional characters in Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Today, we're continuing our Month of Murica celebration with Sam Wilson. Sam is the MCU's current Captain America, but he began his career in the Air Force as a pararescue airman, with an experimental military wingsuit known as Falcon. Sam also has the honor of being the only Captain America we're going to be covering this month who is not physically enhanced in any way, proving that anyone can be Captain America. You know, as long as you have an experimental piece of military tech that has been upgraded both by the Avengers and Wakandan technology. So, yeah, anyone. Anyways, beware of spoilers, and without further ado, let's get started. Sam may be unique in a lot of many ways, but he's still a human. And as a human, he gains 8 hit points and a boost to dexterity and constitution. For his heritage, though, we're going to be making a bit of a controversial decision by choosing the versatile heritage to pick up adopted ancestry, allowing him to access Strix feats. Now, clearly, Sam's not a Strix, as his wings aren't a natural part of them. However, if you want to play Sam Wilson, I'm assuming you want to fly. And without picking out an ancestry that actually has flight, our options are limited to getting an item, which may not be guaranteed in your game, or using the fly spell, which often means taking a magical class, which doesn't really suit the otherwise non-magical character. So, until Starfinder comes out next month, this is what we're working with. If you don't like it, the Adventure class gives you flight at level 14. Just enjoy spending longer than most campaigns last getting to that point. For our background, we don't have to imagine Sam selling war bonds to any crowds, so we're free to choose the warrior background. This grants us a boost to both strength and dex, along with training and intimidation, and the intimidating glare skill feat. Falcon may be one of the least threatening Avengers, but he's still an Avenger. Alright, so let's discuss what we need to make Falcon. First, we obviously need flight and a way to incorporate it into our fighting style. Next, we need to use our time as para-rescue, being able to find and aid our allies in tricky situations. And finally, we need to be able to pick up the Captain America skill set, letting us be a well-rounded martial fighter. For this build, we're going to go with the Inventor class. While Sam may not have originally created the Falcon suit, he does perform regular maintenance on it and relies heavily on its capabilities in combat. The Falcon suit is central to his fighting style, providing him both flight and other essential tools. Inventors in Pathfinder 2e gain 8 hit points per level and start with only trained proficiency in perception. While this doesn't initially reflect our keen senses and scouting abilities as Falcon, we can enhance perception later to better fit our role as an aerial scout and rescue. We also get expert in fortitude and will saves, but only trained in reflex saves. For skills, we get training in crafting, plus 3 additional skills plus our intelligence modifier of our choice. We also get training in all non-advanced weapons and up to medium armors. Additionally, we have a craft DC that we're trained in, which represents our proficiency in using our bird costume. For our attributes, we will prioritize dexterity heavily, as mobility is crucial for flying through gunfire and maneuvering effectively. Constitution and intelligence will be equally important at level 1. Constitution helps us when we can't avoid taking hits, ensuring we can endure the damage, and intelligence supports our ability to perform routine maintenance on the Falcon suit, keeping it in optimal condition for combat. Next, we prioritize wisdom because it directly affects our perception score, and finally, strength is our last positive score at level 1. I'm not saying he couldn't beat me up in a fight, I'm just saying it's not needed for this build. All inventors will end up getting legendary in crafting, but we'll also pick up legendaries in acrobatics for high-flying maneuvers, and stealth, ensuring that we can drop into enemy territory without being seen. Oh, and nature, so that we can maybe befriend a bird. We'll also get training in athletics, intimidation, and warfare lore, as well as medicine. Usually people don't need rescuing because they are perfectly fine. And we get society. Unlike Top Gun, we can actually name our bad guys. All inventors get an innovation at level 1, and for Sam, we're going to choose the armor innovation to create our Falcon suit. Specifically, the subterfuge suit offers us protection while being light enough to not impede our flight. Additionally, we can take the speed booster modification to increase our speed in this armor by 5 feet, or 10 feet while benefiting from overdrive. Speaking of overdrive, we also get the overdrive feature, allowing us to attempt a crafting check against our level's standard DC. On a success, all of our strikes deal additional damage equal to half of our intelligence modifier for 1 minute, and if we critically succeed, that damage boost is increased to our full intelligence modifier. But that's not all we get at this level. Level 1 inventors also get Explode, which lets us blast everyone within a 5-foot emanation with fire damage equal to our level in D6s, with a basic reflex save to reduce that damage. Additionally, Shield Block lets us use our reaction to reduce incoming damage if we have our shield raised, adding another layer of defense to our build. Finally, at this level, we get an Ancestry feat and a Class feat, which we'll use to take to the skies. For our Ancestry feat, we'll choose Fledgling Flight. This allows us to gain a fly speed of 15 feet once per round. But if we don't end our flight on solid ground, we will immediately fall. For larger jumps, we can pick up the Explosive Leap Class feat, which will let us soar to any location within 30 feet and delay our fall until after our next action. These are more like the fancy jumps than actual flight, but hey, we're only level 1, you can't expect too much yet. Finally, we can move on to level 2. Level 1 was a little bit of a beast, so we'll keep level 2 quick. We get the Collapse Armor Class feat, which won't help us much in combat, but it does help us with navigating doorways much easier. At level 3, we gain the Fleet feat, which increases our movement speed by an additional 5 feet, and we also gain Expert Overdrive, enhancing our damage boost from Overdrive by 1. Finally, the Reconfigure feature allows us to retrain our Innovation modification, or any feat that has the modification trait, in just 1 day with a crafting check. It's great for versatility, but not so good for character builds. At level 4, the Beastmaster's dedication gives us Red Wing. For a more MCU accurate Red Wing, you can take Prototype Companion feat to have a construct instead of a bird. However, this method simplifies getting your companion into the air, ensuring Red Wing is ready for action. At level 5, Juvenile Flight boosts the speed of our fledgling flight to 25 feet. This still isn't quite full flight, but we're getting there. I'm sure Sam had some kind of training montage before mastering the wings the viewers just weren't privy to. At level 6, the Visual Fidelity feat provides us with combat goggles. These goggles grant us low light vision and dark vision, as well as the ability to see through invisibility. These enhanced visual capabilities should prove invaluable against battles against foes like Ant-Man. Level 7 is another pretty significant level, so buckle in. First off, we can pick up the general feat Canny Acumen, boosting our perception to Expert, and eventually to Master at level 17. We also get to enhance our reflexes with Lightning Reflexes feature, and Master Overdrive, further increasing our damage boost from Overdrive. Finally, we gain another armor innovation, so let's select Hyper Boosters, which doubles our speed boost both in and out of Overdrive, enhancing our mobility and combat effectiveness even more. At level 8, Red Wing gets an upgrade with Mature Beastmaster's Companion. This feat also lets us establish a telepathic bond with Red Wing, so even if we can't give him a command, he can still use his action to strike or stride. What's better than having a bird buddy on standby, ready to swoop in whenever needed? At level 9, we can finally take to the skies full time with the Fully Flighted Ancestry feat, upgrading our Juvenile Flight to a fly speed of 25 feet at all times. We also gain Inventive Expertise, boosting our Class DC to Expert. To enhance our offensive capabilities, the Momentum boost adds an additional d6 bludgeoning damage to all of our unarmed attacks, plus 1 weapon each day. This level finally makes us a formidable aerial combatant, ready to take on challengers from the skies. Level 10, we get another upgrade for Red Wing, with Incredible Beastmaster's Companion, letting us choose to make him either Nimble or Savage. Savage would add a bit more damage, but I think Nimble fits our little bird buddy more. With this, we get a +2 to our dexterity, as well as a +1 to our strength and constitution, and increases acrobatics to expert. At level 11, Incredible Initiative helps ensure that we're always ready to jump into combat with heightened awareness. Armor Expertise grants us expert proficiency in our armor class, enhancing our defensive capabilities. Additionally, the Resolve feature is our will saves to master, elevating our ability to resist mental influences and increasing our successes to critical successes. May be helpful if Scarlet Witch ever wants to alter reality again. Level 12, our telepathic bond with Red Wing increases, ensuring we can always communicate with him as long as he's within 100 feet. And when we reach Legendary in nature, we can communicate as long as he's on the same plane. If you're using the more mechanical version of Red Wing, this is a bit easier to explain with Wi-Fi. Level 13, we get Weapon Mastery, boosting our proficiency in weapons to master. And Complete Reconfiguration, upgrading the Reconfigure feature from level 3. For our Ancestry feat, we can also take Wing Step, letting us step 5 feet twice to avoid reactive strikes. Notably, we could also take Fully Flighted again to boost our fly speed to 35 feet, but we won't need it, because at 14th level, we get Soaring Armor, giving us a fly speed equal to our land speed. At this level, that's a 40-foot fly speed and a 50-foot fly speed if we ever overdrive. Technically, now you can retrain all those flight ancestry feats from before to make a more accurate Sam Wilson, but I'm not going to take the time to do that. Level 15, we can pick up Toughness, giving us additional hit points equal to our level. We also get Greater Weapon Specialization, giving us a bonus to damage with strikes we are proficient in, and Legendary Overdrive, upgrading our overdrive damage boost to its final form, as well as upgrading our crafting proficiency to Legendary. At level 16, we get another upgrade to Red Wing with Specialized Beastmaster Companion, allowing us to pick a specialization for our bird buddy. Take Racer for an increased fly speed and legendary fortitude saves, or Daredevil for an increased acrobatics and unarmored defense, plus the ability to deny enemies the advantage they get from being hidden or flanking us. Both fit Red Wing pretty well. At level 17, we get Master in both our Class DC and Fortitude saves, with Inventive Mastery and Juggernaut. We can also finally take the Mantle of Captain America with the Heroic Presence ancestry feat, allowing us to give up to 10 allies the effect of a 6th rank Zealous Conviction spell. Wish you knew what your bird buddy was up to while you were at Avengers Tower all day? Well, now you can with Beastmaster's Trance at level 18. This focus spell lets you see through the senses of your animal companion from anywhere on the planet when heightened, and it even lets you telepathically command your bird for up to a minute. At 19th level, we can increase our armor proficiency to Master with Medium Armor Mastery, and can hold our breath for a really long time with Breath Control. It's not that interesting, but it's in character. The air is really thin up there. And finally, at level 20, we get Specialized Beastmaster's Companion again. A feat we already got back at level 16, but this time we can pick up the other specialization that we already covered. Kind of a letdown for a capstone feat. Do you know what's not a letdown? Skill feats. Slippery Prey helps us escape from opponents that are trying to grapple us. Our entire shtick is to cool flight speed, so it'd be a shame if an opponent grappled us before we got to use it. We do some pretty high flying in this build. We're definitely going to want to pick up Catfall to reduce damage, and at higher levels, ignore fall damage entirely. And while we're at it, the Rolling Landing skill feat lets us use our reaction to convert that fall into extra movement, almost as if we were quickened. And while we're on the topic of flying, we might as well get some cool loop-de-loops with Aerobatic Mastery. Finally, for our acrobatics feats, if our foes do end up getting us on the ground, Give Up ensures that we can get right back up without provoking reactive strikes. For our nature, we can pick up train animals in case your GM makes you train your own Red Wing, or just in case you want a different bird buddy. Moving on, we have our stealth feat, letting us sneak into enemy airspace. Dual stances ensure we don't get picked up by radar. Swift sneak means we don't have to sacrifice speed for stealth, and legendary sneak ensures we can hide even in the wide open air. Stark can turn his jets invisible. I'm pretty sure you can do the same for your wings. Alright, you know what time it is. Here. What? You didn't think I'd finish off this build without talking about some items. Sam has a lot of feats, and not all of them can be replicated with past feats. First off, we have the shield. I mentioned it in the Steve Rogers video, but if I were to use a Captain America shield, I'd use an adamantine meteor shield, attached and equipped with a shield boss to inflict d6s of damage. For runes, I'd equip the Called rune so that you can return it in case you get disarmed, the Impactful rune for some extra damage, and the Hopeful rune to be a symbol of bravery on the battlefield. But Sam does a lot of work even before he becomes Captain America. As Falcon, he uses machine pistols, which we can replicate with air repeaters. They don't pack much of a punch, but hey, it's bullets in the MCU. What do you expect? Sam also wields remote-controlled rockets, which he uses very sparingly. This we can replicate with Backpack Ballista, some heavy firepower once per flight. And finally, Sam's goggles are equipped with an array of sensory-boosting items to help him fight enemies who like to stay hidden. A pair of stock goggles fit this role perfectly, at least until you can upgrade them at higher levels with clarity goggles. Alright, with that out of the way, now let's talk about pros and cons. Sam's entire game is staying out of enemies' range, and with a fly speed of 40 feet, or 60 feet while overdriven, we can do that with ease. Next, have I mentioned we have a pretty cool bird buddy? Red Wing is pretty decent in combat, but he really shines as a utility option, scouting out enemy camps and delivering message, or even just moral support. Also, have I mentioned we can fly? Okay, I know I've already mentioned that, but that's enough benefit that it's worth mentioning twice. Alright, now let's take a look at the cons. Our primary con is that we are an inventor who does not invest heavily in intelligence. This has a couple of effects, but the biggest ones are low damage boost from overdrive and lower class DCs for our explode action. Next, a key attribute in intelligence means we can't invest as heavily in dexterity, meaning our accuracy will not be high, especially when compared to the legendary proficiency of Steve Rogers. And finally, Sam doesn't quite have the same experience with the shield that Steve did. We can shield block and throw it just fine, but the action that it takes to recall the shield or raise the shield means we may be starved for actions if we really want to get some combos going. Alright, Now that we have two Captain Americas, let's take a chance to compare, shall we? First off, when we take our wingsuit into consideration, we actually end up with an equal armor class to Steve Rogers in leather armor. But if enemies do get through it, we're a bit easier to take down, with about 90% of the hit points that he does. But to down us, enemies first have to hit us, and that's where our build really shines. Not only do our wings allow us to lap Steve on the ground, but we can also achieve liftoff, boosting our speed to 70 feet. That's well out of range of a shield toss in a single action. But when we compare the two offenses, Sam starts out a bit behind. Not only does Sam need to activate Overdrive to even match Steve's damage with a shield, but even with all of his damage boost applied, Sam is a whopping 30% less likely to hit than Steve. Overall, if you want to be able to stay in the fray and go toe to toe with some of the big guys, Steve is your best bet. But if you want a more elusive playstyle, then pick Sam every time. Thank you for watching, everybody. Make sure to comment how wrong we were to make Sam a Strix, and while you're at it, you might as well like and subscribe so you will receive my apology video where I ramble on for 20 minutes to stretch out the video for the sweet ad revenue. Oh wait, I'm not monetized yet. Well, subscribe to help us get monetized so that we can make a 20-minute apology video, and come back next week to see Winter Soldier in Pathfinder 2e. Bye bye!